Hi, welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker team. I'm Yetta Dekker, and I am back with my sidekick,
Ken Dekker, and I talk slower than Yetta talks.
Yeah.
She's fast. She's a fast mover.
Well, I can do it slowly if you would prefer, and I can soften my tone if you would prefer that.
No, we like the high energy Yetta.
Okay, so I'm back. So, welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate, and we are excited today to talk about diversity. So that was even a little bit of diversity in voice and tone and pitch and rate. Very good. Kind of neat how it all fits together, huh, Ken? Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about the diversity of our areas of expertise within the real estate industry and how we can actually help a client in just about any area and any facet or type of real estate. And it's something I don't think we've ever done a show on out of almost a couple hundred shows now.
That's crazy.
I know, it is crazy. And so sometimes people will say to me, well, I didn't know you worked with tenants. I didn't know you could find me a client to rent my property. Mm-hmm. And, well, of course we can. And because we're a team, so I'm just going to start with a little tiny bit of an introduction around how come we can do that much diversity and that much variety of types of properties, and almost it would be specialties within real estate. And the reason we can do that is because we are a diverse team of realtors with, I guess, close to 70 years of combined experience now. And
wow.
I know. And a support team or care team of folks that have been caring for people in both in the real estate industry and other industries for certainly in excess of 20 years. So lots of diversity in experiences that we've brought to the table. Now, the 70 years combined is specifically in the real estate, not in other sales industries, specifically in the one that we are specializing in.
Yes.
Which is kind of neat. Who knew that would happen so quick? I still feel like I'm 30.
You look 30, honey.
Yeah, I don't. I know. He's supposed to say that. For those of you that don't know, he is my husband, and so he has to say really sweet things to me. If you thought he was my brother, he's not.
No.
No. The worst question ever for me that was asked of Ken was, he was asked, it was from another realtor, if they could talk to his mother. And they were referring to me.
Now, in fairness, he'd never met you.
He'd seen my pictures, though.
Well, that's true. But he didn't know how young I was. He hadn't met me.
Yeah, anyway, it was sad. I had a good cry that night. Anyway, so the diversity is because of the years of experience, so clearly not 30 anymore.
So you went on a wicked bunny trail or rabbit trail, or actually
it's a piggy trail. Let's call them what they are.
Or you're in the pit stop right now. Let's get back on the track.
Okay, we're back on the track. So proven performance that moves you fast is the track we're back on. And that's what the Dekker team does, is they have years of experience that proves that we can do it, and we can do it quickly and with great professionalism.
Yeah, and I think what you were trying to say, let me get you back on.
Try? I don't try.
No, you were trying because you didn't say it. What she was saying was, because we have a team, it's kind of like a doctor. If you go to a generalist like your GP, they can diagnose what you need, and yet they may not be the perfect person to do that procedure that you need or support you in that way. You don't want your GP doing brain surgery on you or open heart surgery. You want a specialist doing that. So because we have a team of realtors, we're able to figure out who's best suited for a particular need and support you in the absolute
particular
best way.
niche, really,
Would
right?
that be what you were trying to say?
I wasn't trying. That is what I was saying. So thank you for clarifying, maybe.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Yeah, and also the support team allows us to do it because they have their own areas of expertise. So we bring those into the client or the agent expertise areas, and together create a pretty amazing package for you, the client, in just about any facet and any area within the Ottawa region.
Sure.
Sure? You don't sound convinced.
No, I am convinced, and I was just thinking that even in like the area of marketing, we have a marketing specialist who takes videography of our properties, pictures, understands the internet, web design, web presence, SEO, all those bad words that they dreamt up, all these acronyms.
Around technology.
Facebook, Kijiji, use Ottawa ads, all these different things that he's a specialist in, so that we can be a specialist in our area, which is getting properties sold, negotiating, making solid contracts, that kind of thing. And our marketing specialist is doing what he knows best.
Right.
Because if we don't have all these people, then we have to be a generalist. And
Right.
we'll get it done.
Yeah, you will get it
just
done.
not as well.
Right.
Your property wouldn't be presented in as good a light.
Right.
And maybe marketed to as many people.
Well, and even if we're talking from a buyer's perspective, there's so many facets of doing a transaction that you want people that are going to worry about the crossing of the T's, the dotting the I's, which the realtor does when they're doing the contract. And yet, if they're busy doing now the inspection with you, who's going to get the documents to the right places at the right time? So having a care coordinator, promise keeper is her title, that will get those things where they need to go, that also is an asset to you, making sure that not just the big broad strokes get handled beautifully, and the details within the contract, even there's hundreds of little pieces within a real estate transaction that has to get handled. So that's who's taking care of those things behind the scenes. You always have access to your realtor that's been working with you directly, and we do our utmost on the Dekker team to give you consistency of care so that you know who's taking care of you and what's next and what's about to happen all the time. And because we're a team, we can much easier accommodate your schedule. If you do need to see a property because it's just come on the market and you have a solo realtor, they can't drop their other client to go show you a house. No. Whereas because we're a team, you're right, if the one that you've been working with primarily can't drop the client they're already showing a property to, however, one of the other team members can be there.
Did you say I'm right? I think I heard you say I'm right. Or were you talking to the audience that they're right?
They're right.
Oh, okay.
They're
I just
right,
wanted
Ken.
to put another notch on the wall.
No,
you
let's
said
not
I
do.
was right.
Let's not do that today.
All right.
Okay.
So why don't
we'll
we
save that for another day.
Okay. So why don't we talk about the type of people and situations that we serve,
right?
So that if our listening or viewing audience falls into one of those categories, they would know, hey, let's call the Dekker team because they can serve us.
So let's start with the one that I began the show with, and that is a landlord. Okay. An existing landlord. Well, just because I started there, so I might as well go back to that. And that's the reason I think I brought that one up, is because one of my clients that I've worked with several times said to me the other day, I didn't know you do rentals, so I went and found a realtor that does rentals.
Huh.
So shame on me for not ensuring that even our previous clients that loved us and have given us great introductions to other people did not know that we had the expertise within the team to help a landlord find a great tenant. And because the landlord situation and finding a rental property is so diverse in any city, there is not an MLS per se or multiple listing service for tenants that covers, or for landlords, for property, that gives you the big picture. So if you're looking for a property to rent or to sell one, there is hundreds of little things that you would want to do to try and reach the masses, right?
Yes.
And so MLS becomes one of those tools. Yep. So the multiple listing service, if you are a landlord, you'd like to have your property rented through that means, gives you a couple of advantages. It will generally give you a higher quality tenant because there's a little more hoops to jump through from a tenant perspective. It's just not answering a Facebook or Kijiji ad. So the realtor gets involved in that process. We get involved in the credit check process and also the reference check process, and making sure that we believe, for lots of various reasons, that they're a great tenant. So we help landlords find tenants. It's not our primary business, and because we work with so many investors, it does become part of our business.
Yes.
And so whether you've been one of our investors that has purchased real estate through us and you're buying one a year or one every 2 to 3 years, which is what a lot of the program, I guess we might say, or strategy that a lot of our investor clients are using with us, then we will certainly help you find a tenant if you'd like us to.
Yes.
And even if you are not one of our investors yet and you would like to become, we will help you find somebody for your current rental properties.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing that people are finding, especially after they read my Wealth Formula book,
yes,
is they might want to upgrade their home. So they're moving up.
Right.
And in the past, it was just a simple decision. Sell your house, buy another one. And now there's another decision is, do I keep my existing home, pull the equity out of it?
Part of the equity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull as much as they can out of it.
Yeah.
Move it into the new property that they're going to live in and rent the old one. Now, sometimes there's a psychological attachment to the old house, and it's difficult to
the
rent
previous house, like the one that was your current residence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be tricky to rent that because you've got that emotional attachment to it, because you've lived there, you've upgraded it, you've done all kinds of things to it. Whereas if it's just we're buying it strictly as a rental property, there isn't that emotional attachment.
Right.
So if the tenant, damages the paint or, puts a burn in the carpet or whatever, it's not quite as emotional.
Right, and then the other thing is there's some tax implications as well. So you want to refer
we know
to
how to handle those.
Okay, but you still want to connect with your accountant and involve the whole team if you're investing in real estate.
Absolutely.
Because that is a different kettle of fish. And we have lots of expertise on the team, numbers, spreadsheets, graphs,
what is a kettle
charts.
Of fish?
It's a real estate show. Let's get back to real estate.
Okay.
Okay, so the spreadsheets around knowing your numbers and making a wise, shrewd investment decision is something that actually Ryan, our son, has created and is marketing that same program to other realtors so that they can better serve their clients, as well as he offers it free of charge to the Dekker team clients, right? So that's kind of a neat little niche market that we have and are able to help greatly our clients make great decisions there around investing.
So that's investors and tenants,
right?
Or landlords.
And investors, let's just narrow down for a minute. Investors is not necessarily just a single family home or a condo or a townhouse. It could be a multifamily. It could be all kinds of
mixed
different
use,
mixed use.
Residential, could be just
commercial. Could be commercial, yeah. So investor is a very broad stroke, so we better say commercial, have expertise in commercial as well.
Yep. And we've helped people with land development, land subdividing, subdivisions, farms.
Right.
So there's a fair bit with vacant land as well that we have expertise in.
And whether it be a single lot, that's easy. And also creating a plan of subdivision and going through that whole process, that's something we have enough expertise. We can guide you through that process. We still have to deal with the city. You still have to do all your stuff, and yet selling that for you.
There's other professionals involved in that level of a development.
Right.
Sure.
And yet we have the ability to assist you from the real estate side of it in those things as well.
Yep.
So what are some other areas?
Well, custom homes.
Right.
Now, a lot of people fall that into new homes because it is a new home. We've got to differentiate. There's kind of what we call track housing. That's where a builder owns basically the whole street. They build out the whole street.
Or subdivision
and
or whatever.
they provide 10, 15, 20 different models
5.
that they'll bid. Some is 5. They put different front elevations on them so that they can see that the street doesn't look all the same.
Right.
And so those are track housing. We call that new housing. And then custom homes are where you actually sit down maybe with a the designer, and you design a floor plan.
The architect.
The architect or you might find a plan on the internet and say to a custom builder, this is what I want you to build. They'll price it out. We'll find a lot, or maybe you already got a lot, and we start construction. So it's a little different kettle of fish, so to speak.
There you go. And we do have lots of expertise in those areas because we have been new home warranty builders. We actually opened 2 businesses at the same time. When we opened Keller Williams Solid Rock Realty, we decided that was not sufficient, so we decided to open a building business, and we did build homes for people, and decided that was maybe not the shrewdest business decision we'd ever made.
Well, it was another one where we have one of those sayings, we bit off maybe more than we could chew at that time to open 2 businesses simultaneously.
Right. So we had great success building them, the homes. We've actually had an opportunity to resell some of them again, so that's been kind of exciting. And so now we don't run that business. We decided to focus on the real estate industry exclusively, and it still brings with it lots of knowledge of how to help you, both with tract homes and the developers or the custom home builders as well as the tract home builders generally speaking, are more than welcoming in the realtor. And in most cases, the price is not any different whether you go directly or you have your realtor do the introduction.
Oh, it could
and
be
in
better.
fact, it could be better. Right. So tell
because we have the inside track.
Right. And why could it be better? Can you give maybe a small example of something?
Well, recently I had a buyer who was actually put a deposit down on another lot and with another builder, and they came in just really to have me rent their other property. And in some discovery questions and figuring out what was going on, they showed me the plot plan, and I said, that's fine, you can build there, and that price for the house is okay. Here's some of the things to look out for lots. And one was like the transformer, sometimes you can't get away from it. It's got to be on somebody's lot.
Yeah.
But if you've got a choice of lots, don't pick the one with the hydro transformer on it. It backed onto townhouses. They were building basically the biggest house on the street, and the lots were smaller beside them, and multiple. Because it was townhouses behind, they would look actually into 3 backyards from their backyard because they had a wider lot because of the bigger house. And so in the end, they decided not to go with that. I introduced them to another builder, slightly different area, but a really great lot. We found a great lot. And they're going to have their dream home built. I helped negotiate to get something thrown in here or there.
Yeah.
And they're very, very pleased.
Well, and the thing is, at the end of the day, their resale, if they ever choose to go sell, they're in such a better position now than they would have been if they had chose the other property. It wouldn't have cost them any less money, and it would have given them a very inferior product. So sometimes it's not just about the money, it's about the actual product and the lot and all those details. So that's something we're very in tune with and familiar with. So we guide you through that process so that you're informed, and then you ultimately make the decision yourself. So if you're just joining us on the Inside Track on Real Estate right now, we are talking about the types of properties, the diversity of clients that we are able and in fact have expertise in assisting on the Dekker team.
And we're really talking about buyers right now.
Yeah, we'll move to sellers in a minute.
I know, but are we?
Yeah.
Just want to clarify so I'm on the right page.
You're on the right page, Ken
Good.
Dekker.
All right, so people that want to flip a house.
Right.
And I always say that flipping a house is hard work. I've hurt my back flipping a house. They're very, very heavy.
They are.
Yeah, okay. Fixer-uppers, we've got experience with renovating, costing that kind of thing out. Commercial properties, whether it be leasing, purchasing land for a commercial building or buying a commercial building, done all of that. Luxury homes. That's kind of where you love hanging out in the luxury
Candace
homes,
loves
don't you?
them too. We all.
Yeah, but you love hanging out in them.
I do. They're kind of fun. I love all homes, actually. Well, it's actually the people I love. It's not so much the houses.
No.
However, the luxury market is something we have specialized in and are part of a very unique luxury marketing division with Keller Williams. There's just not very many of us, actually, that get the opportunity to do specific marketing geared to the luxury buyer and the luxuries on behalf of the luxury seller. So that's an area where we have some inside marketing opportunities and networking because of the affiliations and associations we're part of. So that's kind of cool, very specific there. And then as far as in town and out of town, there's lots of realtors that are not as versed on the well and septics and all of those things that might exist in the country. And that is an area where you want somebody that has significant experience because it is something more difficult to navigate. It's not as easy as just hiring an inspector sometimes because there is intrinsic things that you just need to know even what inspector to hire. And then when the inspector finds something, to be able to have an intelligent conversation about what it is they're finding, whether you're working for the seller or the buyer, the whole area of expertise in rural property becomes huge. That's just, I can't talk about that one enough, but I have to move on.
Well, you have to because we'll run out of time.
I know. Okay. So relocations, folks that are coming in and are in a bit of a hurry that only have a few days to buy a property, whether they are with the RCMP or the Department of National
I love those people.
Why?
motivated buyers.
They are, absolutely. And we have expertise in making sure that we treat your decision as an amazing decision, because it is one that you're having to trust your realtor probably even more than when you live in town.
Yeah, because your time is short.
Yeah.
You're generally coming into a town that maybe you haven't lived in before.
Right.
And you need a realtor that's experienced in that, understands the stress you're under, is able to carve out enough time to support you during those 3, 4, 5 days that you're finding a house, doing an inspection, and all of that, and then flying back out of town.
Right.
That's a whirlwind for the buyer.
And we need to reduce the stress.
Yeah, we significantly reduce the stress by the systems and models that we put into place for an out-of-town buyer.
Yeah, and it's high-paced, and yet we become really good friends. So it's kind of fun.
So if you're falling in the category of being relocated to another city, connect with us, because we have realtors in other cities across North America, actually in the world, but let's talk about North America for now, that can support you in the way that we support our buyers and are experienced at handling an out-of-town buyer.
Right, absolutely. And then, of course, you could be buying a larger home, you could be buying a smaller home, you could be retiring.
And then you got one to get rid of sometimes, right?
Right.
So there's a whole dynamic there that we understand very, very well about not getting caught with 2 houses or not getting caught with no houses, right?
Yeah.
It can be a stressful period, and we navigate that very well.
Well, I hope so.
I'm sure we do.
Yep. Perfect. And then there's the moving into a retirement home, maybe. Or so there's just a way of working with somebody that is in a transition. And most of our clients are in some sort of transition, so a lot of expertise on how to strategize, navigate, and just be part of that caring process when it comes to a difficult situation.
Yeah, it's really understanding the dynamics and the emotional stress people are under, whether it be like if you're downsizing or retiring and moving into a retirement home or something, that change in lifestyle, we really have to have kind of soft hands. You got to be really gentle with people when they're hurting.
Right.
And most of the time when people are going through change, it can be a hurting time. There's the odd time where it's an exciting time, you know. We've had a bunch of kids, the house is too small, we need to get a bigger house.
There's
still some stress there, and yet there isn't the emotional distress keyed in with it. So understanding that.
Yeah, and so in relation to residential, just sort of as a general statement, we can help you both with condominium sales downtown or sprawling country bungalow or $5 million houses. It's sort of the whole spectrum is something. Because we are a team, we will match you with the best realtor for the specific type of property you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Right? And really all those things apply to sellers as well.
Yeah, they really do.
Because when you understand what a buyer's looking for and what their needs are, then you can roll that into, well, we have the needs of the seller, and when we're marketing for that seller, we know we need to meet the needs of the buyer in our marketing. And if we can excite a buyer about a property because of what it has or what it does or where it's located, then we've got a good chance of attracting that buyer to come to your house, your property, and fall in love with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it allows us, again, back to the team effort, each of us has areas of expertise in the whole selling and marketing of a home. So the strategies, the processes, the checklists, there are many of them, and they have hundreds of items on them, are very specific and very detail-oriented to ensure that we can create a great result. So in all of those types of properties, short of tract homes, because we're not a developer for a tract home builder, we really can handle all of those types of properties, both from a selling end as well as a buying end.
Although we have represented builders before.
Oh yeah, and smaller builders and
but not tract
developers, but
custom,
not we've
builders.
been the custom builders and small tract builders. I guess we have done a couple of those too. So a little bit of everything, or a lot of everything actually. So if you're just joining us now, we've been talking about the diversity of care that we can give you in relation to the types of properties, whether you are buying or you are selling. And if we missed one, relocating to another city, we talked a little bit about that, and connecting you with the right people. So that's something where we actually interview if we don't already have a great connection.
Yeah.
Most often we have a great connection already, and when we don't, we interview to ensure that we do have a great connection and that that person is the right one to take care of you. So we've got a very vast network to even connect you in other cities, and then you get us on your side as well as the realtor there, which is kind of cool. So we want to talk about
a lovely condominium I have for sale. Now, when you hear the word condominium, you quite often think apartment or
I don't.
Maybe stack housing.
Okay.
This particular one is like a townhouse.
Right.
Has a garage right underneath it.
Often that's not true. That's
that they have a garage.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that
sometimes underground parking.
Yes, sometimes.
This particular one has a nice garage. You enter in on the ground floor, which is like the basement.
Right.
Which has a 3-piece bathroom, has a family room, ready to go. Oh, by the way, this is out in the Orleans area on Summerfield.
Yeah.
It's listed at $275,000.
Wow, that sounds great.
Good price.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
It's what we consider a 3-story because you have living space on the ground floor that you come in. Then you go upstairs to the family
living
center,
room, great room
area,
great room.
Kitchen with a large eating space. Very nice, spacious home. And then upstairs, 3 bedrooms and bathrooms. It's really nicely designed, fresh carpeting, freshly painted.
I like fresh paint.
Hardwood is good. Everything's great about this house. It's really a family home, a great starter home for a family. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a lovely family to take this home
We're just a couple.
From another lovely family.
Yeah.
Well, a couple is a family.
Okay, true. When you say family, I'm thinking all the grandkids.
Well, no.
Because that's family.
Okay.
In a big way.
That's the Waltons. You're talking about us now.
Yeah, I know.
So, great home. It's ready. We've actually been in conversation with these sellers for close to almost a year, I think. We had our contracting family member go out, do some of the work for them. So it's fully prepared and ready to sell, move-in condition.
That's awesome.
For $275,000.
Wow.
And the condo fee covers the exterior, and it's only $221, which is a pretty good condo fee. Most of them are $300, $400, $500. So at $221, that's a good condo fee. So if you'd like information on that property or any other property, if you've got spring fever, summer fever, you're going, I just got to get out of this house and get into a new one, we're the people to call. Give us a shout, 613-860-4663. That's 613-860-4663. And we'd love to help you acquire or get rid of.
Get rid of?
Well, sell a house or get a house. Whatever your needs are.
Or invest in a house.
Or invest in one. We'd love to help you. Give us a shout. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.
Bye.